I'm 29 female, and my fiance is currently unemployed. He received some devastating family news and needed to take time off. As a result, he has been out of work for close to 3 months. I try not to be spiteful of it because this is following the passing of his brother, and you truly can't put a time frame on grief. I've been as supportive as possible, but I'm getting stretched very thin here. Usually in my household, family of 5, my 3 kids are not his. I spend roughly $400 max on food, and it lasts a month, maybe even a little bit more. I buy in bulk as often as possible. However, my $400 limit was basically stripped in half due to unfortunate budget cuts at my work. Thank God for the monthly child tax credit going into effect, because if it weren't for that, we basically wouldn't have any food. But regardless, I've been going very cheap because I have no other option. The food banks have been closed for months and I don't qualify for assistance. Anyways, lately, my fiance has been eating enough to feed 3 people. Not only are his portions very large, but he also has seconds, and a lot of the times, thirds of whatever it is we are eating. Not in one sitting, but throughout the night until he decides to go to bed. Those could have been used as leftovers for the following night's meals, but he usually has polished it off come morning. He also has been eating my kids' school snacks. He has gained a lot of weight because of this, and to put it as nicely as possible, my bra would probably fit him better than it fits me. I have brought up his food intake as kindly as I possibly can a few times, but he gets super upset, and I truly don't blame him. After all, commenting on someone's food intake is a touchy subject, no matter how you put it. However, last night struck a nerve with me. I made a meal which happened to be my son's favorite. My son had his fill, but he wanted to overindulge, as he always does when the said meal is cooked. He wasn't hungry, I know this, but it doesn't change anything in my opinion. My son asked for seconds, and my fiance said no, that there wasn't enough. There were still easily 2 helpings left. I didn't realize it because my fiance put it in the fridge. 45 minutes after the kids went to bed, he went and grabbed another dish of it, and I immediately saw red. You tell my son there isn't enough so you can eat it all? Hard no. I was calm, but told him that if he wants to continue eating enough for 3 people, he needs to get a job or stop eating as we can't afford it. He got angry, dumped the food in the trash, and stormed out, later saying that I was an idiot for treating him like a fat duck. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your fiance not only denied your son the food you bought and prepared, he then had a tantrum and threw the rest out? I understand that he's grieving. However, your first priority is your children. His grief doesn't give him a right to be a long-term gluttonous moocher simply. In addition, his angry tantrum response is what would have me the most concerned. I would seriously consider a break from this relationship. See if you feel better as a result of his absence. Yeah, that's the problem in a nutshell. It might have been tolerable with him being unemployed and hungrier than usual, but now his attitude is, my appetite takes priority, and if I can't eat it, no one can? I don't think the grief or unemployment caused the problem. It merely gave him a chance to reveal his true self to OP. Everyone's the idiot. OP, it doesn't matter if your son wasn't starving. He's a growing boy. It was his favorite meal. Your fiance, who should seriously have become your ex-fiance the moment you realized he'd hidden the food. And the fact that you're still with him, even after you found out that he had stolen and lied, even after you saw him dump the food in the trash, because God forbid anyone else get to enjoy the food if he can't. What exactly are you waiting for? You're not his mother. You're his fiance. Your priority should be your son. This is horrifying. Your fiance is taking advantage of you. Your son is starving because your fiance is stealing food from a child. Wake up. This is toxic. Get rid of the fiance and be a better mom. He's the idiot, but you're also at fault. Yesterday, my neighbor's toddler rang our doorbell while I wasn't home. I saw her on our Ring app. When no one answered, I saw on the camera that she went around to the backyard. When I came home, the back door was open and toys were out of our playroom. She had found an unlocked door and let herself in to play. She had gone home and hadn't gotten hurt, thank goodness. A few hours later, my daughter comes to me and says her bunny is gone. We have a bunny in a hutch outside in the backyard. She saved up for a month to earn the bunny, and it's her pet. I told the neighbors what their child had been up to and asked them to ask their daughter if she had let the bunny out. She clearly had. We have enough money to buy a new bunny, and it's pretty obvious to our neighbors that it wouldn't be a financial hardship. Our neighbors can easily buy a new bunny for us too. I told them they had to pay for the bunny. My husband says we can afford it, and I shouldn't have asked them to pay because it could cause strain between us as neighbors. I think there needs to be a consequence to them letting their daughter have minimal supervision, and if they pay for enough bunnies, maybe it will change. Recap. My neighbor's daughter let our bunny out. I asked him to pay for it even though we can afford to buy a new one. My husband thinks it will cause strain, but I think there need to be consequences. So, am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. This seems pretty cut and dry. The child they are responsible for caused a loss, and it's reasonable to request that they compensate you for that loss. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend framing it as a learning opportunity for them. And if they decline, I wouldn't throw a fit about it. Just quietly get a better lot for the hutch. Maybe do that either way. Fingers also crossed that someone in the neighborhood finds the original rabbit, unlikely though it is. Try posting on your neighborhood sub, on Nextdoor and Ring, etc., if you haven't already. Please call CPS. The outcome could have been so much worse. And given that this is not the first time she's wondered without the parents making any significant changes, the odds that they will make any changes now are slim. Yeah, I think OP should call CPS too. The safety of this kid is more concerning than the cost of a bunny right now. This is not the first time the kid has wandered away. I would feel it was my fault in some way if the next time this happened, this kid found her neighbor with a pool and drowned, or an unfriendly dog in someone else's gated backyard. Everyone's the idiot here. Your neighbors, obviously, for leaving their child unattended, causing harm to the bunny, but you seem to care little about a living being that can suffer and feel all kinds of emotions. If your child had gone missing, you would be like, oh well, what a bummer. Let's get a new one, and our neighbors are going to pay for it. No, of course not. You clearly haven't enough responsibility for a pet if you see them as a commodity that can be replaced whenever necessary. Recently, I, 25 male, got engaged to my amazing fiance, 24, Amy. I'm the happiest I've ever been when Amy said yes and was nothing but excited about our wedding. We started planning the venues, the dates, and the invites. When talking about who to invite, we agreed to invite our coworkers, as we have worked in our respective jobs for years and liked them all. As I checked it off the list, Amy spoke up and said everyone from my job could come, except my work friend Tally, 26 female. Tally is also one of my close friends, so this surprised me that Amy didn't want to invite her. She has met Tally multiple times, and there didn't seem to be any issues. When I asked why, she said she just doesn't like her and finds our friendship uncomfortable, saying she thinks Tally is the type of person trying to sway taken men and be the center of attention. After talking some more to see where she got this idea, it turned out this was based on nothing but Tally's looks, as even Amy admitted that Tally's always very kind to her. But still, Amy is adamant about Tally not going and saying that she makes her insecure. Amy is a beautiful woman, so I don't know why she feels this way. I told Amy that if it makes her feel uncomfortable not having Tally at the wedding, that is fine, but before invitations go out, I wanted to speak to her privately to let her know to save embarrassment. Amy agreed, and that was really that. We didn't speak on the matter after. A week or so later, I went into work and Tally started to ignore me, only really talking if it was work related. I was confused as it just isn't her. Our coworkers have started to ignore her and acting strange to me. So I contacted her boyfriend, only for him to be sarcastic on the phone. I asked what the problem was when he asked if I didn't know what happened. He then filled me in. It turned out a few days earlier, Amy came to my work on my day off with invitations. I had no idea she even made them yet. She handed everyone an invitation in front of Tally, then saying to Tally, "You aren't invited. Women like you aren't welcome," which has sparked everyone suggesting she's my other woman. Since then, she has been harassed by some guys at work and shunned by the women. She is now looking for another job. This made me mad, and I apologized profusely as I didn't know. When I got home that night, I confronted Amy about this. She denied it at first, but then told me she did it, but it is now not an issue because she's quitting her job. I flipped on her, saying how she clearly didn't trust me to say something, and that she crossed the line doing all this behind my back. She didn't see the problem and got upset, asking me why I'm so mad. Me responding, if we are really going to get married, get your insecurities in check and grow up. I stayed at a friend's since, but have had texts from Amy, her friends, and her mother saying I was an idiot for this and that Amy doesn't deserve this treatment. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your fiancé planned how she would humiliate your friend after she forced you into not inviting her to your wedding. Your fiancé is an insecure, jealous child. Why do you want to marry this person? Red flags everywhere. I put your wedding on hold. Unfortunately, this behavior won't improve. Utterly not the idiot. She hurt Tally because of her baseless jealousy and made her ostracized and eventually quit her job. She deprived her of working opportunities and made her lose contact with her friends from work. Those are very serious accusations, and she can't go behind your back and ruin people's lives. I'd be worried about what else she's capable of doing and reconsider the wedding. Who knows, maybe it occurred for a reason, so you'll see this side of her before the wedding and not afterward. I'd be livid if I were you. This is outright cruel. Not the idiot. This jealous, vindictive woman showed you who she is. Amy is not an amazing woman. She is a petty, spiteful person that has done you a fantastic favor. There are so many red flags. If you ever have a female friend, she'll probably do it again. You should reevaluate your relationship and see if this is something you want in your future. Update. Unfortunately, all I can really do is damage control to what Amy has done. Of course, I plan to explain to everyone what has happened. I do not want Tally to be going through this. She is a genuinely kind person who does not deserve any of this. I am actually on my way to speak to our boss at the moment to see what can be done. Tally's boyfriend is also saying he will speak to her on my behalf and see if he can get her to talk to me. My company has a yearly barbecue, and after skipping last year, I got like 7 requests for my mango tart. Every time I bring it, it gets eaten immediately, and everyone always mentions how much they like it, so I don't want to disappoint. My coworker sent a group email saying her daughter was allergic to mangoes and some other things, not allergic to being around mangoes, just eating it. She never told anyone not to bring any, but to warn everyone of cross-contamination. I emailed back to ask if she was allergic to strawberries, and she said no. So I made mango tart and strawberry tart for her. I put the mango tart in a separate cooler and put it in the back so her child couldn't grab it. The coworker and her daughter came and saw the strawberry tart, and she gave one to her daughter. But her daughter saw the vast number of people at the mango tart cooler and wanted one of those. She said, "No, you're allergic, so it's bad for you." And her daughter started crying and throwing a tantrum. She took her back to their car and rejoined us later once her daughter had calmed down. I got an email this morning of her proclaiming how insensitive I was for bringing mango tart when I knew her daughter couldn't have some and making her feel like she wasn't included. I'm shocked because I made strawberry tart just for her daughter and made precautions to ensure she wouldn't be exposed. But am I the idiot for bringing mango tart? Not the idiot. You made them an entire tart just for them. The child's inability to handle seeing other people eat some food is not your fault and is 100% a parenting issue. I hope this issue doesn't spill into your day-to-day operations with a coworker. However, if she raises the issue again, then probably best to consider reporting the situation to HR. Not the idiot. The parent is the idiot. You can't expect to make everybody avoid eating something just because your daughter can't. Oh, my daughter is allergic to meat. You should all eat salad at this barbecue party, so she wouldn't show how uneducated she is. Exactly. Does she whine when she can't have beer or wine? There was a specific dessert made for her, and that should have been more than enough. Instead, she not only didn't thank her for thinking of her child, but she also criticized. How ungrateful. And honestly, the tantrum is very concerning, because what if she's at school and no adult is around to tell her not to eat something with mango in it? Is she just going to go ahead and eat it because everyone else is eating it and she doesn't want to miss out? From the coworker's behavior, you would think it was her barbecue, not a company barbecue. This lady feels entitled to tell people what they can or cannot bring to a work event. Unless it's a deathly allergy like peanut, where just being in the vicinity of the allergen is enough to set off a reaction, banning an ingredient is not a reasonable accommodation. People should feel free to bring what they want to a potluck, as long as they're labeled and cross-contamination is prevented. Last year, my sister, 28 female, dad and I, 26, found out we are not his bio kids. Our mother had hooked up with a former crush while married to our dad, and 2 of the 3 hookups resulted in our births. Our mom then decided that since our bio dad lived in another country and had his life out there, she would let our dad raise us. The news rocked us, and my sister has been more conflicted over this than me. To me, I still only have one dad, and I have no desire to meet the guy who contributed his DNA to make me. On the other hand, my sister has been driven to know since the beginning and found him a month after we learned the truth. Our dad is still very much in our lives, but she believes we both deserve to have 2 dads now. I told her from day one I wanted no part of it. We stopped talking for a while earlier this year because she was telling this guy about me, personal crap at that, and I was not okay with what she knew. She's now meeting the guy and has pushed me to come along. I told her no. She said he wants to meet both of us. He had no idea we exist. I told her I don't care, that I have my dad, and I'm happy not knowing this other guy. She said our dad was never our real dad though, and we can meet our real dad. I asked her how can she say that when he was there. She said she didn't mean it like that, but biologically we're not his kids. I told her I want no part of this. I have no interest in meeting our biological father, and I will not change my mind. So she needs to meet him alone. The clash is on even more because she has 3 weeks to go and is determined I will be there. My dad suggested she could bring a friend, and she told him he should come too. He told her he couldn't do that, given that this guy knew about him when he slept with her mom. She said he would need to come to terms with it because she wanted him to be part of our family. I said he could be part of hers, but he won't be part of mine. She told me I'm an idiot for not going as emotional support at the very least. Is she right? Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your sister is, of course, free to build a relationship with him, but she cannot force it on anyone else who doesn't want it. This is a difficult situation and requires total respect for your respective choices. I also feel like she doesn't understand and/or chooses to ignore the fact that no is a full sentence, and regardless of that, the fact he donated DNA does not make him a father. Not the idiot, but I would reconsider meeting him. He didn't know about you or your sister for 28 years. That's a blow to him too. He could have been a great father and was never given a choice. Clearly he slept with your mom many years ago, and people make mistakes. He might not even have known she was married, based on her clear desire to lie and keep things hidden. You might regret in the future not giving him a chance. At least if you met him and you were uncomfortable, or it felt off, you would know.